Hello everyone, this is CJ Novo 992 and today we're back with another brand new video, and I'll be honest with you, this is going to be a tough one for me because there is a lot of emotions going around the grey noggin right now, you know what I mean? I'm annoyed, I'm frustrated, I'm disappointed, but am I surprised? Nah, no really. Ladies and gentlemen, and look, today's topic isn't going to be what we all wanted it to actually be. This isn't what we're going to be waiting up for tonight when we were going to the game. We were excited what we picture would be the actual outcome. Or it probably is for some of you that are actually tuning in, depending on which affiliation you feel with your football club. But for those here to laugh and everything like, fair enough, your actual thing, I get the banter. But for those that are here to talk about the football things, let's have a footballing conversation and talk about Rangers crashing out of the Champions League qualifiers at the first time asking. And it's an interesting one, right? Because I think if you missed this game of football, right? Say you were Rick, you're just waking up from an old coma and you're looking around and everything's just falling apart, right? You hear Rangers got knocked out of the Champions League qualification stage versus a very dangerous Dynamo Kyiv squad. You could actually almost accept it because, yeah, you know Dynamo's a decent team, you know what I mean? They're no great, they're no world beaters. I don't think they're going to go ahead and beat Salzburg next week, but that's what was ahead of us. They were a team that scored 9 goals in the previous round with 8 different goal scorers. They've got genuine threat. So you can accept that considering how bad we are right now in the embarrassing situation once again we are actually in regarding home games and playing at Hampden. The incompetence of this board and what they've done, you can accept that we've got knocked out here, ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't see the game. Where the real frustration comes for any Rangers fan that actually watched the game is one of the major key factors in changing not only this game but this entire tie, and that clearly is the referee. And look, I've been doing this a very long time. I know there's going to be people's going to do this and post what they want on Twitter and show they're moaning about referees, and that doesn't bother me, you know what I mean? I've been doing this a while. Again, for those that are here to actually talk about football and have a genuine conversation, you'll know why we need to talk about referees so early in this game of football and why we're highlighting this referee, because this decision right here absolutely is tragic, and it's genuinely scandalous that a referee can look at that and then say it's a yellow card, you know what I mean, and to send a boy off. Because you can say what you want about Scottish football, hell I do a lot, I've got a problem with a lot of the referees in this country, you can understand it, you know what I mean, because they're part-time, they're not fully funded, you can understand the actual decisions. As much as it pins you off, they've at least got a wee bit an excuse, but you can't excuse what we've seen today, because this referee isn't a Sunday League referee or a Scottish referee. This is a referee that's in charge of a game of football at the Premier Euro Club competition. You know what I mean? This is Champions League level stuff here. This is the referee's responsibility to see and take himself out of it and make sure the winner of this tie gets through properly with the right decisions made. You know what I mean? The less said about the referee, the better. But he's directly injected himself in as he's changed the trajectory of the entire game. Now, is he the exact reason we lost this game? No, he's not, ladies and gentlemen. And if you stay for the actual video and you didn't shout at me in the comments section below, you will actually hear how bad and how disappointed I am in different areas. But again, did it help change the tie like that? Obviously, and that's something that's without our control. You can't plan for that, you can't play for that, you can't train the team to get used to that. Now, that is a referee just getting it wrong at the highest level. This is a game that's not only worth 4.8, 4.9 million pounds, whatever it actually is, if you make it to the next round, but you're then talking about a pathway to go ahead and make round about 43 million pounds. This is absolutely massive, and that referee had that responsibility in his hand, and he's absolutely blown it with, again, a shambolic call. And look, I know a lot of people say, oh, you're getting old these days, CJ, you're always moaning about the new generation of football and the new rules and everything, and I get why people say that, because I hate the laptop statistic folk, expected goals. This is why we do this with corners. We didn't put a man on the post because statistically it says there's better to have one. I get all that, right? I do moan about a lot of stuff, and I have been disappointed with some of the rules and implementation of the likes of VAR, because again, I don't think it directly helps referees. It's just another petty tool for them to get it all wrong. And this is my problem with where we are with football these days, and the VAR and the usage of VAR and where it's gone as a club, you know what I mean? Because VAR can actually go ahead and stop a game of football for 5-6 minutes whilst a goal's been scored. You know what I mean? The thing that we all love in actual football, the thing that separates us from every sport, the emotion you get with seeing your team score, celebrating with your old man, celebrating with your family, celebrating with whoever you want. You know that thing right there? Yeah, they try and chop that away because they'll sit for 5-6 minutes, scroll back 60 seconds, minute and a half to try and find a foul in the build-up to chop off the actual goal. They'll be able to pause the game and stop the game and do this for 5 minutes Well, you scroll in painstakingly minute after minute to see if someone's t-shirt line's a half an inch down furlong, half an inch offside. You're looking at toenails and everything like Quentin Tarantino fetishes, you know what I mean? You can do all that, but not once can you go like this to a referee in his pocket when it gets wrong at a second yellow and says, by the way, he's no touched him right there. You can't do that. You can't influence that. Why? Because it's a second yellow card. Honestly, it's absolutely embarrassing where we are gone. In football in general, it's truly absolutely mortifying. They can do all this and do all the bells and whistles to chop, but they can't just say to the referee with an earpiece, by the way, he's no touched him, and the referee can then stop his actual decision. Why? Because he done daft rules that didn't make any freaking sense. It's stupid. But aye, that's me. Heard my say about the referee decision. I'm not really wanting to keep going over. I thought he was absolutely pathetic on the day, and he was scandalous, if I'm honest. One of the worst officials I've ever seen. And I watch Scottish football every single week. But I want to move away from it, right? Because yes, that clearly played its part in changing the trajectory of this tie. Clearly it did. But it isn't the only reason and the defining factor in why we're knocked out. Because at the same time, ladies and gentlemen, we can try and coddle ourselves with the referee stuff. We can coddle ourselves that we were unlucky and we just came down and conceded 2 late goals, playing down to 10 men, playing this. We can keep coddling ourselves with that. But is anybody else sick of being the hard luck acts? You know what I mean? And the, oh, shucks, they are unlucky. Is anybody else sick of always being number 2 whenever we're trying to reach and achieve our goals? Because ladies and gentlemen, at a certain point of view, the players that are actually selected and are trusted and put in to the starting 11 to start these games actually needs to go and prove their worth and show their quality. And did they do that as a team? Maybe a couple individuals. I thought Barron ran his absolute arse off again. There's a couple in there that ran their absolute arse, and as much stick as I give John Suter, and I feel like I'm right to do that because again I watch every minute of Rangers games. I've seen what he's cost us in the games. I thought he actually dug in and he played alright, had a couple big blocks, you know what I mean? He put his body on the line. I'm not saying it's changing how I feel about him, but again I'm giving credit for the game. But the rest, ladies and gentlemen, was there really enough there to say yeah, they deserve to play Champions League football? Did they really give absolute everything to make sure we were in the Champions League or in the next stages of that? I didn't think they were good enough, ladies and gentlemen, truly. And it's another big game where these players didn't turn up and play at the level, and now we've got the excuse why we never done it, and that's what will cover them and save a lot of their blushes. But again, for me, if you look about the first minute until the sending off, did we play at the level we can actually play it? Did we play nice attacking football? Did we create chance after chance? Did we play at a level that is deserving of the Champions League status? No. No for me. So the referee's got responsibility, and for me the players have a lot of that as well, and that leaves the other guy. Because as much as I like him as a person and I like him as a man, is he absolved of any fault in this game? Nah, I didn't think you can actually do it. I know we could maybe look this way, but I think if we take a step back and look at it all, we got it wrong in a lot of areas of the day, and I thought the manager got it wrong again with some of his selections in the starting 11, and I thought his substitutions were absolutely baffling as well, especially when we went down to 10 men. Right, the unlucky second yellow card rips up whatever game plan he had in place, right? But if you're actually watching the game, did anyone else feel like going into half time, we need to take Hefty off? Because one, he's been given an awful yellow card that probably wasn't given a yellow card, because Kabayev 3.5 minutes later, go back and watch on Tavernier, the exact same side, exact same place, just the other side of the park, does the exact same challenge and doesn't get booked, right? So he's been booked. Then he went ahead and made 2 different fouls, and the referee warned him the second time. That was it. So did anyone else feel like going into half time where we're going to have to take Hefty off? And then we see Czerny coming out, we're like, yes, he's coming on. That's a smart bit in management now. Who's playing on the left? Is it going to be Czerny? Is it going to be Ross? You see Hefty coming out, and then Big Heft again is just honest. He's young. He's getting up there to win a header. He wins it cleanly and gets punished. I know he's unlucky, but again, it feels like we could have helped ourselves again with that. Clearly the referee had it out for Hefty. Had already gave him the warning in that spice of the game with the responsibility and what was ahead of us in this game. I feel like we should have took him off, and it goes back to something we done in Hearts as well with the Cortez one. I feel like he should have got took off at half time, but he came out, played 5 minutes, got injured again. Now you're talking about a guy getting sent off, rightly or wrongly. We just didn't ever seem to help ourselves, and there's always these decisions I'm sitting saying, what are we doing? That's another one that I can file under that. It was a walk-in red card, if you will, and I think if he would have stayed on, the referee would have found another way to send them off. But aye, he doesn't make that, and then the substitution not to bring Sterling on for a further 10 minutes and really run the pan of the team in before bringing the likes of the legs of Sterling in was a bit of a weird one as well. His continued favouritism with Tom Lawrence. He put Lawrence in the midfield after going down to 10 men, and you know what I mean? He can run about as far as Professor Xavier, and you're watching him get ran by every single time, and it's weird, you know what I mean? And it's the type of stuff that we criticise Beale for and we criticise Gio for, and a lot of people now forget about it, but we used to criticise Gerrard for it as well, with his favouritism towards some people and not making the right subs, and clearly Lawrence is one of them. And look, I know this isn't our biggest issue for this, and it's almost a non-factor if I want, but see now that we're not getting the Champions League rebuild and we're not getting the recruitment now because the money is not there, even though would have order been there, nah, you know what I mean, the board would have found a way to take mate in the majority of it, ladies and gentlemen, because the last time we made the Champions League, did Gio get to spend it? Nah, never, right? But Clement isn't getting that fabled money now to go and get who he wants now. Can he get the guy in the middle? Can he get this? Can he get that? Well, he's got an internationalist that starred at the Euro 2024 that's both footed and averages a goal every 3 games in his career, that's done it in this league, that's led this team in terms of creativity. The last time this team won a league title, he's sitting in the house watching Lawrence get ran over game after game. Now, I'm not sitting saying Hadji is the saviour and Hadji changed everything if we win this game with Hadji, but it's these baffling decisions I'm not getting because I'm having to watch games like this unfold, having to watch performances like this of Tom Lawrence, because who's his alternative? Kieran Dowell. Do you know what I mean? It's not a computer game. He's no good enough either, yet he's sitting in the house. Dana and Cantwell understand if he says he's wanted to go, I back Clement in that one. But it's a baffling decision now we had you, especially when it's costing us this after this after this, because nobody can sit here and tell me that Hadji for 5 minutes would have maybe gotten the ball a wee bit more than the 5-minute substitution that we made of Rabbi Matondo throwing in Tom Lawrence. You know what I mean? Some of the decision making we've made in terms of Kieran Dowell as well, coming into these games versus Hearts, coming in to these things, you can't be sitting saying he wouldn't offer something a little bit different. This team badly needs creativity, and statistically our most creative player over the last 5 years is sitting in the house, and that's the decision that Clement's made. It's no, oh, the board this or oh, the board this. Maybe there is a wage clause in it or anything like that, but that was us that done it, you know what I mean? You know what's more important than a wage clause getting actually fired in? Making Champions League football, winning games to start the season off. That's more important than potential wage clauses, and I'd rather, if we're paying him thousands of pounds a week, get him involved. But again, I feel like I went on a wee bit of a tangent there, but that's how I feel about Clement. You know, I mean, he's making certain decisions, he feels tunnelled with certain players and he's ignoring other players, because it isn't all doom and gloom with this starting 11, but it is if they continue to pick the people that is failing and is not performing. I get he's not got the centre mid he wants. I get he's maybe not got the other centre half he wants, so he has to play Suter. But Big Soapy wasn't that bad today, if we're actually being honest. You know what I mean? There's options, rotations there. We're just not using them. And again, for me, the starting 11 was flat. Seeing it, it played flat. We waited too long to make the substitutions again, and yeah, we ended up coming unlucky with the 2 goals late on. But for me, there's different areas of this game you can look and say, yeah, we failed in that category, we failed in that category, and we failed in that category. For me, we failed with the players' performances, we failed with the manager's performance and tactical tweaks and changes as well, and substitutions that he made. And for me, the guy in the middle of the park failed this game and failed to do his job as well, which is to officiate, not dictate. And taking your emotions out of it, how did we get beat the day? A team being able to go to the bench and bring on attacking, valuable players that's able to go in there and impact their games. No stock gaps, no players that aren't good enough. Going out there and being able to bring in quality, not only from the 11, but the 18. And you look at that, that's when the folks also go upstairs to put us in this type of game with what's at stake, the magnitude in terms of the money, with the guff we've got in that squad. It's almost criminal, man. It really is. But I guess it's time to actually get into the old game recap and break down this, as it won't take us too long as not much happened. Again, such a lack of quality and cutting edge and such an important game for this team. You know what I mean? Imagine if we didn't treat August like pre-season and done a real pre-season, got this team actually ready. It will never catch on, ladies and gentlemen. But again, Champions League money doing a dream, pure start to the old season. But it doesn't matter. everything is fine. So we're getting into the game of football, and actually the first chance comes after the first couple of minutes after Lawrence puts in a cross. Again, nobody's making a move, it's to sort of nobody, but it does come out, and Dessers got the opportunity to maybe hit it first time, but he regresses to previous Dessers as he tries to do a wee fake shot and loses it, and you're thinking, imagine. But even John Lennon couldn't imagine that fast start. Now we're quickly reminded of what this game could potentially be after Kabayev, who we spoke about a lot yesterday, we spoke about a lot last week, just continued to tear Tavernier a new arsehole as he just ran by him each and every single time, and it was such an outball for Dynamo, and I thought every time we were at least putting a bit of pressure on, all they had to do was chip a ball to Kabayev, and Kabayev just sprinted past Tavernier every single time. 9th minute it gets down beyond and puts in a very dangerous area. Thankfully the winger on the other side, who tries to slide in and get to the ball, misses it, and you're thinking, right, God, that was fine. But then it happens again 5 minutes later, and you're thinking, oh my God, somebody help him back there, because surprise, surprise, Tavernier can't deal with a fast winger. Do you know what I mean? Help ourselves. Put in Sterling, because Tav defensively is clearly a weakness, but he's still got something at least a little bit different in terms of going forward, and maybe instead of playing Ross in this game, you can maybe put a Tavernier doing that side. Maybe they double fullbacks either side. You just never ever know, because the next chance was actually created by Tavernier's foot as he puts in a wonderful cross to Jefte at the back post. It started off brilliantly with Diamande spinning his man. He's got a hold of his shirt, he pulls Diamande back, but the referee doesn't care about that, you know what I mean? He booked Diamande when he done the same, but he wasn't bothered about the guy pulling Diamande back, but he passes it to Lawrence to Tavernier chips into the back post. Jefte should probably get on target, but again shows his aerial threat by how quickly and how highly that boy explodes up. Then the game was starting to get slowed down. Every time Rangers tried to offer something, there was holding the face, pretending they're dead and everything like that, and it's just, it's something we've talked about again in the past. See, if you're pretending you've got a head knock, there should be a mandatory time that you're off the park getting checked out for concussion, because see if you implement that, legit, see all these arses that's kidding on the head and or they're all lying down and pretending they're knocked out. Watch how quickly the game changes and how quickly football gets back to being football, when if you go down like this, you've actually got to get off and get checked for a head knock. That fixes it right like that. But they'll not do it, because again, European competitions are filled with this time wasting, time slowing crap, and it's that gets praised. That's the teams they want in the competition. They didn't want the hard working grafting teams for the likes of Scottish Football. No, it's all these guys that's gone and pretending they're dead every 2 seconds. Implement a concussion protocol and that problem is solved. But again, that kind of bled into the game as the next 5-10 minutes was just some of the worst football to actually watch. I mean, there was a chance for Dessers, no really a chance. A sort of out-swinging cross, he's nearly at the edge of the box. He does sort of well to get the header on target. There was then an ugly scrimmage of play, and I'm using that word literally, by the way, as we go down the right-hand side. Ross McCausland puts the ball in. Tavernier tries to take a touch, it then spins under his foot. Lawrence falls over his feet. You know what I mean? The one thing that Lawrence actually brings in is supposed to be good control, but he's got an opportunity to pause the ball right in the 8 yards out, but he ends up taking a bad touch. It falls to Jefte, falls to Dessers. We're swinging, we're trying to kick, but it ends up getting clear. I'd argue the only real bit of football we played in terms of the first half was in the 33rd minute of the game, after Kabayev takes Tavernier for a walk again and puts in a ball right to the back post that should have been tapped in. I don't know how the winger missed it, but I'm absolutely delighted he did. You know what I mean? Maybe work on, as soon as you size Tavernier up, they're just exploding by him each and every single time. Just pull him down and at least get a yellow. Just stop your man running by you. But anyway, from that scare, we end up doing a quick counter attack from the corner kick as Diamande does well. Again, he spin by his man, takes a bit of a late one that doesn't get punished by the referee. He then plays it into, I think, Jefte. Then he plays it to Dessers, who does really well with his touch and timing to play in Ross McCausland. Causland cuts it on his right foot, tries a curling effort, but it's not really good enough. And this bomb scary, a goalie gets away with that again, and you think to yourself, by God, what a chance that would have been if we had somebody a bit better than Ross McCausland. No disrespect to the young laddie, but this is a Champions League qualifier, you know what I mean? We've got to be a wee bit harsh. That's where our best players should be. If they can't last 90 minutes, make them last the first 45, because what a chance that was, and I'd have felt a lot more comfortable with Cherny running through than Ross. But after the crowd got up from that, Dynamo Kyiv started diving about, pretending they were hurt. There was 3 different incidences, 2 from Popov pretending that they had a head knock, and that sort of took us into half time, where again there was real frustration in there because there was very little football played, both when we were able to and then when Dynamo Kyiv was diving about pretending their heads were off. And that led us into the second half, where again Černý come on, we're thinking, yes, right, there's a bit of quality. But then that surprise came again where Jefte never came off the actual park, and we've talked about it already. It's going to be talked to death. Everyone's probably already heard the saying it. Jefte goes up for a header, wins it cleanly, and gets sent off for it. And again, that's when the game changes. Rangers had to go a wee bit more defensively, but you're talking about a team that's down to 10 men, right? And I didn't mean no disrespect, but you've got Tavernier, who can't really run much. You've got Černý, who apparently isn't fully fit. You've got Lawrence in the middle of the park. You're almost down to about 7 men there in terms of tracking back and putting in the hard graft. So I've actually got to give credit to both centre-halves, especially Soapy, who again I've been very critical of, and I still stand by everything I said. But I thought the more we arguably played like a Heart side, the more John Souttar actually looked like a proper defender. As everything that came into the box, he threw his head at, he was diving, blocking, some changes and all that, and using his pace a couple of times to stop them. So I'll give credit where credit's due. I thought the more we had to dig in, bunker in, and not be a dominant side in terms of the ball and pile forward, the more you saw John Souttar. And again, maybe that's a statement of where he is and what type of defender he truly is. He maybe is in the trenches type of defender, but I thought he was good today, so I'll give him credit. The highlight being in the 58th minute, where he timed a beautiful slide challenge to stop what looked like a certain goal from Dynamo Kyiv. But you're talking about moments and chances. The moment in the 63rd minute of this game is going to live in this grey noggin, because despite everything, Dessers does so well to spin his man, playing Diamandi. Diamandi's got a chance to shoot, but for whatever reason, he takes the Dessers approach. Fake shots it, plays it to Dessers. Dessers for a tight angle, ends up getting blocked. It goes out to Černý. Černý then cuts inside, has a shot that's blocked. But it's that moments there, it's little moments like that where you think to yourself, Diamandi's got to hit that right there when he's got a clear sight. It goes, but sometimes moments are too big for players in games, and that looked like it was too big for Diamandi. And it's no surprise to me, less than a minute after that, he was actually withdrawn from the game of football. Yeah, maybe he was blowing because he did put in a lot of hard yards. He was having to play left mid, centre mid, and centre attack mid, because again, Tom Lawrence doesn't run, but he gets to play every single minute, and there's guys sitting in couches, thousands of pounds a week, right? Then Sterling eventually comes on, then we start to get a little bit, and again, it just started to get a bit more defensive. They started to grow a bit more confidence, and every time we tried to flutter something going forward, fall down. Or, if we're being honest, it was some poor play and some poor end product. And that's where, again, I feel like the players maybe let themselves down. For effort, they maybe ran their arses off and done that. But in terms of quality, what you need at this level, football's a cruel game. Ladies and gentlemen, you need quality. We just never had enough on it. And wee moments you thought, oh, maybe just sort of fell away. Again, Černý had one where he faked the left, ran down the right, played into Dessers. Dessers' shot is blocked. It does hit the arm of the defender, but it's not a penalty kick for me, as it's right there. Again, I've had my opinion said on that many, many times before. And then Ridvan's shot is blocked, and to just put insult to injury, Ridvan is then injured as well, having the shot that was blocked. And yeah, Ben Davies comes on. So you're not talking about Ben Davies on. You've got Tavernier playing the way he's done, and you've got Lawrence in the middle of the park. There's no wonder we weren't able to hold out when you're already down to 10 men. And it all comes down from Ben Davies' side. He cuts inside, and maybe an ironic way that he runs away from Davies. To be fair, Sterling doesn't cover himself with glory here either, and Lawrence doesn't put the challenge in as well. He doesn't put the block in as the shot comes low hard, beats Butland. That's 1-0. That's a sucker punch. You're thinking, God, that's so brutal. God, that's so harsh. And by the time you look up for your hands, ladies and gentlemen, to put the ball in the back of net and finish the ties. We had no composure, no real leadership, and maybe that is what Clements looking for in the middle. Maybe that is what he's missing, just to grab a game, calm the team down and say, listen, we're still in it, we just need one goal. That long ball, fit ball, killed it. They got the ball, ran down the park, scored. We're over-committing. It's game, set and match. Now, there was a late chance for Dynamo Kyiv as well after a mistake for Jack Butland, but it was fantastically saved, and he recovers from that mistake, and that's it. Ladies and gentlemen, that's what comes calling in terms of Champions League qualifiers. It's over, probably deservedly so in terms of the performances and the lack of qualities in the right area. If we're playing this badly versus a Dynamo Kyiv side, again, I'm not even sure, beat Salzburg next week or whenever the game is, can you imagine when we play the real teams in the Champions League, what they would do and they'd lick their lips with some of these players that's in the starting 11, you know what I mean? Ladies and gentlemen, as we needed it to try and potentially replace the dross, but we're stuck with the dross and we go to the Europa League, which normally brings a bit of excitement because, you know, we've punched above our weight and we've played really well, but I'd argue the team that made the Europa League final 3 years ago would absolutely maul this current Rangers team. We're supposed to be moving forward as a team. No, actually back. That team that made the Europa League final, ladies and gentlemen, made all that money for the Europa, then qualified for the Champions League. How can we, after that and the money we've made from those two things, be a sensationally worse side than we were a couple years ago? It's terrifying, it's scary, there's a lot of questions that need to be asked, but aye, that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Treating August like pre-season comes back to bite Rangers once again, and making baffling decisions regarding personnel hurts us again. Performances aren't good enough for the same suspects, and the referee dictates the entire game and the complexion of the game. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. That's all I've got to say. What about you? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down there in the old comment section below. And until next time, I've been CJ92. Thank you so much for watching, and bye.